last fire will rise. The last fire will rise behind those eyes. Black house will rock. Blind boys don't lie. Immortal fear, that voice so clear.
Hello, YouTubers, and Merry Christmas! As you may have seen if you follow my videos, I usually like to do some sort of a Christmas episode. And this year, with Christmas actually being on Wednesday, which is the day that I always post my videos, I thought I definitely had to come up with something. So this year, what I wanted to talk about was A Christmas Carol. It's the classic Charles Dickens story. Ebenezer Scrooge, he's this very wealthy but very greedy and curmudgeonly old guy. Absolutely hates Christmas, is just nasty to everybody. He's visited by 3 ghosts. Well, technically 4. His friend Jacob Marley, used to be his business partner, visits him to tell him that he's going to be visited. But anyway, he's visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas yet to come. And they kind of show him the error of his ways, both in the past, obviously past, present, future. They show, how he kind of grew up with Christmas, how he sort of became, the curmudgeonly grump that he is. They show him how it's affecting him presently, and then they show what his life is going to be like in the future if he doesn't change. It's absolutely a classic, just heartwarming story. There have been so many adaptations and so many updates or takeoffs of the story. So there's just so many. There's of course the classic movies that were done long time ago. I've talked about a sort of update version, the Scrooged, which was sort of based off the same similar story. It's the Bill Murray version. But today I actually wanted to specifically talk about a version I'm personally very fond of, which is actually a recent version, like some years ago, with Patrick Stewart as the main character, Ebenezer Scrooge. I found a DVD of this, and I've always loved the whole, Christmas Carol story. So I wanted to actually own a rendition of the story. So I picked this one up, and I actually really liked it. So, it's of course, it is A Christmas Carol. It's that same basic story, but with, in this case, Patrick Stewart in the role. He is just an amazing actor, so, he really does a great job of making you feel like that he is this Ebenezer Scrooge, this just grumpy, evil dude. And, he really makes you go through the story with him, and you really feel like the transition. But, of course, Christmas Carol would be nothing without all the supporting cast. So you've got Bob Cratchit, his Clark, and the guy the actor that they have in this to play him is great. You just feel like he really gives a sense that he's just a wholesome, great character, just like a good person. And then of course there's his family, most importantly Tiny Tim. The guy that they got to play Scrooge's nephew in this version may actually be one of my favorite actors in that group. Apart, of course, from Patrick Stewart. But he plays the role just so perfectly, just like undying enthusiasm, just a great dude, and no matter how much Scrooge rejects him, it's his uncle, it was his mother's brother, he loves his uncle. So he doesn't care, he's undying enthusiasm, he's never going to give up on his uncle. And I'm not spoiling anything here, because come on, who doesn't know the story? Eventually that's one of the things that kind of Scrooge sees, and that's sort of one of the things that kind of helps to turn him. Bottom line, it's just an awesome story. One of the best things about the story is the ghosts, and I will say that again, the actors that got to play all the ghosts, Jacob Marley, Ghost of Christmas Past, Ghost of Christmas Present, they were great in the role. The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, not really much you can do to screw up that role. So that guy was good, because the guy doesn't talk, I did think that the special effects with him were a little cheesy. It was just like the shroud just had like two little light bulbs for floating eyes or something like that. The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come has always been one of my favorites, so I like seeing like the skeletal, like almost Grim Reaper look that they give him a lot of times. So that I would have liked to see that better, but it's a pretty simple role. Like I said, all he does is point. He doesn't even talk, so that there's not much you can do to mess up that role. So overall, this was definitely a good rendition of A Christmas Carol, and I personally highly recommend you check it out. But if nothing else, I recommend you check out some instance of the original story. Like, I love a lot of the takeoffs, like the Muppet Christmas Carol's really good, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and like I said, Scrooged with Bill Murray, which is not actually the same exact story. He's not Ebenezer Scrooge, but it's like the same idea. But I really highly recommend you check out some version of the actual original story, be it the really old, Alistair Sim, be it the one that I'm recommending with Patrick Stewart.
And just in case you couldn't see him on the tree, I figure this would not exactly be a surprise to anybody who knows me or is familiar with my videos. But look what you see on the tree there.
Merry Christmas, YouTubers. I hope you have a great Christmas if you celebrate it. Otherwise, Happy Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, and a Happy New Year. Thank you, YouTubers. Have a nice day.